Good morning. In today's session, we are supposed to study about the torque speed characteristics. In previous session, we have seen about the three-phase induction motor. Three-phase induction motor means what? We can say that motor as a electromechanical energy converter, which will uses the electrical energy and which will convert that energy into a mechanical energy. Then we have seen the construction of three-phase. It will consist of the two main parts. These are nothing but stator and the rotor. Stator means what? Stator frame, stator winding, stator core. Then we have seen about the rotor. Rotor is the main part. It means what? It will be the rotationally part, and we can connect the load to the rotor. Then we have seen about there are two types of three-phase induction motor. These are nothing but squirrel cage induction motor and the slip ring induction motor. If we will require higher amount of starting torque at that time, we can use slip ring induction motor, because squirrel cage induction motor is having low value of starting torque. But if you see the construction of slip ring induction motor, it's quite complicated as compared to the squirrel cage, because here there is a necessity of slip ring as well as the brushes. Then we have seen about the torque slip characteristics. Slip is nothing but we can calculate slip if we are having the value of rotor speed that we are taking as a capital N, and if we are having the value of synchronous speed is nothing but we are denoting by letter capital N suffix subsuffix S. And how we can calculate the synchronous speed? We are having the formula ns equal to 120 f upon p. F is nothing but frequency. If they will give, we can take that frequency. If they are not giving, we can take that frequency as a 50 hertz. Number of pole they will assign you 4, 6, 8. They will give you in the numerical. Then we have seen if we are having the value of ns and n, we can calculate the value of slip, because we are having the mathematical formula for slip s equal to ns minus n upon ns. So you will get the value. As we are saying, if we are taking at start torque equal to 0, sorry, if we are taking at start rotor speed equal to 0, means capital N equal to 0, तो हमारा इक्वेशन क्या हो जाएगा? S equal to ns by ns. It means what? You will get the value of S equal to 1. And if we are saying the value of synchronous speed will get low as compared to the value of rotor speed. It means what? Rotor speed will go to the increase at that time. You will get slip value will be 0. Then we have seen the torque equations. How will you get? You will get the torque equation tau equal to S into R2 into x2 square upon R2 square plus x2 square into 3 upon 2 pi ns. 3 is coming because here we are supposed to see about 3 phase. So R2 is nothing but rotor resistance, x2 rotor reactance. So here we are using small n. Small n is nothing but rotation per second. It means what? The speed of the rotor that will be measured in a rotation per second. So in that equation, we have seen the value of torque is directly proportional with the resistance. It is directly proportional with the value of S. But in one time, it will be inversely proportional. How? Because we are getting the equation S x2 square, yes, into r2 into e2 square upon r2 square plus s x2 square. मतलब ये जो s है स्लिप का वैल्यू है, फर्स्ट टाइम न्यूमरेटर में आ रहा है और सेकेंड टाइम यू विल गेट इन द एडिशन इन द डिनोमिनेटर. So you observe these things. Already we have seen in the previous session, we have seen the numericals also. So now we want to study about the torque and speed relations. Torque is nothing but we are denoting by letter T, and we are taking the unit Newton minute Nm, and speed is nothing but we are taking in the rotation per minute rpm, or you can take small n rps. So here when we are talking about the speed characteristics, at that time we have seen the equation for slip which will get the value of speed, and we have seen the torque relation with the slip. So in short we can say torque value will be directly proportional with the speed. But When we have seen the torque equations, you will get the value of S in the denominator also, because we are having denominator R2 square plus SX2 square. तो वहां पे क्या हो रहा है कि वो इनवर्सली भी प्रोपोर्शनल है, जैसे हमने टॉर्क स्लिप का टॉर्क स्लिप का कर्व देखा था. आई विल शो यू. Here, what we are saying, we will get the value of torque increases linearly with increase in a slip. But when you will get the maximum value of slip, at that time, we are calling that region as unstable. Because here, if you see, torque will inversely proportional with the slip. From Sm equal to S equal to 1. So in that way, you will get the torque speed characteristics. If you see here, if you are taking the starting torque, if you are taking any initial value, you can take any value. I am not giving here value. We are taking only the graph. We are taking only torque on y-axis and motor speed. If you want to give, you can give here values. यहाँ पे 0 as a origin, and you can give here speed. You can give here torque value. So here we are saying if we are taking any starting value of torque, as we have seen, here we are taking the starting torque. So from here I have drawn the graph for the torque speed characteristics. So here when we are taking the value of starting torque at that time, with increase in the value of speed, the value of torque will go to the increase up to pull out torque, up to pull out torque. And after that, the value of torque will go to the decrease, because here you will get the value of synchronous speed. Synchronous speed is nothing but ns, because here if you see, you will get s equal to 1, and here we are neglecting the value of 0. Here only we are considering the value of synchronous speed, because we are having the value of s. S is nothing but we are having ns minus n upon ns. So here we are taking रोटर स्पीड 0, तो n 0 हो जाएगा. तो तुम्हारा इक्वेशन क्या हो जाएगा यहाँ पे? हाँ, तुम्हारा इक्वेशन क्या हो जाएगा यहाँ पे? यू विल गेट s equal to 1, because we are having only ns upon ns. So here we are saying you will get the value of s equal to 1. So we can say here, when we will get the synchronous speed, and when we are taking the rotor speed equal to 0, at that time you will get the value of torque will be 0. So here you can see the graph. There will be question only on the like explain torque speed characteristics. It will be only for 2 to 3 marks for the theoretical. And if there will be the question on numerical, then you will get the question only on the equations. There will be no question on any graph like. So here only what we are supposed to see, when we are saying at start, when you will see, if you are taking the value of starting torque any value, at that time the value of torque will go to the increase up to pull out torque. And when you will get the value of torque as a pull out, or you can say as a break over, it means what? Here we are ब्रेकिंग आवर रूल, बिकॉज यहाँ पे लिनियरली इंक्रीज हो रहा है, उसके बाद क्या हो रहा है? वैल्यू डिक्रीज हो रहा है, बिकॉज हियर वी आर कंसिडरिंग रोटर स्पीड इक्वल टू capital N equal to 0. You can see here now we are taking here rotor speed as a 0. So you can say here, if we are taking rotor speed as a 0, only we are considering that speed as synchronous speed. So you will get the value of torque here, that will be 0. If you are taking that speed as a ns. So now we want to see about the effect of resistance. As we have seen about the torque equation, you will require this equation for whole characteristics, because you will get here how torque will be proportional with the, yes, on that you will get how torque will proportional with the speed, because s का value है तो हम speed calculate कर सकते हैं. After that you are supposed to find the relation of torque with the resistance. So here you can see the value of torque, how it will be proportional with the resistance. This is the rotor resistance. You can see it will be also directly proportional with R2. Again, if you see here also in denominator, you will get the value of R2. So here we will see about the effect of external resistance on the torque slip characteristics. So here we are drawing the torque slip. जैसे torque slip का characteristics का ग्राफ था वही ग्राफ फिर से डिराइव कर रहे हैं. Sorry. We are drawing the same graph again, the torque slip characteristics. Only we are taking here different value of resistance. Can anyone tell me, if we are increasing the value of resistance, what will happen? And if we are decreasing? Rishikesh, Raja, can anyone tell me the answer? What is the effect of additional resistance on the effect of the torque? Okay, we will see. Here, if you see, if we are taking starting torque, that will be equal to the maximum torque. So here we are saying you will get the value of maximum torque. When you will get S equal to SM. S equal to 0 है तब torque और slip दोनों 0 है. When S equal to SM, you will get maximum torque. And when S equal to 1, at that time we are saying that torque will go to the decrease. And we are saying that region as unstable. So here, if we are taking starting torque equal to maximum torque with the value of resistance equal to X2, at that time, you will get the value of torque maximum. And if you are increasing the value of resistance, if you are increasing the value of resistance with previous resistance, you can see here, if you are increasing, you will get here lower value of torque as compared with the slip. So here you can say the speed of induction motor can be controlled by inserting additional resistance, because by increasing the value of internal resistance, you will require external resistance you can give through a slip ring. We can provide this external resistance via slip ring, and if we will require maximum torque, at that time you can say it will be dependent on the value of resistance, because you can see here torque value is depending on the external resistance. So you can assign, you can give, you can provide external resistance through a slip ring, and here you will get maximum torque is directly proportional with the value of resistance. So you will get Tm will be proportional with the R2. So motor circuit resistance. So we can see the torque speed characteristics with varying value of resistance. So if we are increasing the value of resistance, you can see here, if we are taking the value of resistance higher, if we are increasing, at that time, as compared to this, if we are increasing R2, as compared to this resistance, if we are increasing this, and if we are taking the higher amount of resistance, you will get the higher amount of torque. You can see here, you will get the value of torque maximum. So we can say, when we will get the larger number of steps of external resistance, you will get the smoother speed characteristics. So we can say, if we are increasing the value of external resistance, you will get the speed control that will be smoother, and larger starting torque, lower starting current, and large pull out starting torque. So you will get the value of slip that will be minimum, because we are having the equation torque equal to S into K into R2 upon R2 square plus SX2 square. So you can say, if we are taking the value of S equal to 0, you will get torque equal to 0. And if we are increasing the value of resistance, with this, the value of torque will get increased. So you can control that speed by inserting additional resistance. So here we can say, if we are taking the normal speed, if we are taking R2 equal to SX2, if we are taking directly R2 equal to X2, at lower value of slip, if you are taking at that time, torque slip is approximately look like, if you see, if we are taking R2 equal to X2, you will get torque that will be look like a straight line. So here we can say, if we are increasing the value of slip, if we are increasing s equal to 0 लिया है, उसके बाद जैसे जैसे तुम वैल्यू ऑफ स्लिप इंक्रीज कर रहे हो, टॉर्क विल आल्सो इंक्रीजेस and torque will be maximum when you will get S equal to R2 upon X2. And this torque we can call as a pull out torque. जैसे हमने दिया है, when you will get the maximum value of torque with increase in a speed, we are saying that as a pull out torque. So we can say if we are increasing the value of slip and with the increasing value of slip, value of torque will increases. At that time you will get S equal to R2 upon X2. And we can say that torque as a pull out torque, or we can say that torque as a stalling torque. So when the slip is increased further, at that time you will get rotor resistance that will get negligible. If you see, you will get the value of resistance decreases with increase in a value of slip. So here we are saying you will get the value of slip that will be increased, so you will get rotor resistance negligible. And for larger slip torque, that will be inversely proportional with the slip. So torque slip curve will become like a, you can see here, if we are increasing the value of resistance, we are saying if we are increasing the value of slip, the value of resistance will goes to the decrease. You can see here the value of resistance क्या हो रहा है, डिक्रीज हो रहा है, यहाँ से यहाँ पे उससे कंपैरिजन में यहाँ पे कम हो रहा है. So here if we are decreasing the value of resistance, that resistance will go to the negligible value. So here you will get slip will be inversely proportional with the torque will become inversely proportional with the slip. So we can see that curve will look like a, यहाँ पे straight line था, but when we are decreasing the value of resistance, it will look like a hyperbola. So here I was taking your attendance. Okay. So here, what we are saying, if we are taking the value of resistance to negligible value, if we are taking the value of resistance less as compared to the previous value, at that time, we will get the curve of the torque slip that will look like a hyperbola. And when we are taking the value of S equal to 1, at that time, if we are taking the value of resistance maximum, if we are taking R2 equal to X2, at that time, you will get the curve that will look like a straight line. So here we have finished about the effect of external resistance, effect of slip, effect of speed on the torque. Now we want to see the losses of the induction motor. So already we have seen the numericals. In that we have seen there are different types of losses we will get in the induction motor. These losses are nothing but the constant loss, or we can say as a fixed loss. Iron loss, mechanical loss, variable losses. So constant loss will be, that loss can be calculated by performing no load test on a three-phase induction motor. These losses we can take as a constant. That's why we can call that as a fixed losses, because this will only depending on the construction of that three-phase induction motor. And here, if we are taking these losses as a constant over a normal working of the induction motor, we can again divide that constant losses into a different types, like the loss which we will get because of the iron and core, the loss which will be the mechanical and the variable. It means we can say constant loss will get divided into a iron and the mechanical losses. So we can see about the iron loss. Iron, or we are using here core. Core is nothing but here to make a core of three-phase induction motor, we are using the iron. So we can say that loss also as a iron loss. So we can say that loss again will be divided into two types. These are nothing but hysteresis loss and the eddy current. Eddy current means what? If we are not doing the grounding very well at that time, if there is any error, you will get the some current will flow and that will go to the dissipation. Power will get dissipated. So we can say that loss as a eddy current loss. So we can say that loss will be called as a eddy current loss, and eddy current loss can be minimized by using the proper lamination. So if you are doing the proper connections, you can minimize that iron loss, or you can say a core loss. And by laminating the core properly, we can decrease the area and hence you will get the increment in a resistance. So which will result in a decrease in a eddy current loss, because we have seen Ohm's law. Ohm's law is nothing but V equal to IR. So you can see I will be inversely proportional with the R. So here we are saying when we are using the iron or a core loss, if we are doing the proper lamination, you will get additional amount of resistance. So it will opposes the excess current. So you will get the lesser amount of eddy current. And what about the hysteresis loss? We can say we can minimize hysteresis loss by using the high grade steel. If we are using silicon steel to make the core, you can say if we are using the high grade silicon steel, you can minimize hysteresis loss, because the core losses that will depend upon the frequency, and the frequency of stator is a, we are taking as a supply frequency, and the frequency of rotor is a slip times the supply frequency, because you will get and S equal to 120 F upon P. So we can say here the frequency of rotor is the slip times the supply frequency, which is always less than the stator frequency. Hence, if we are supposed to reduce the hysteresis loss, we can use high grade silicon steel. And rotor core loss is very small as compared to the stator core loss. So here only we are talking about the loss which will get occurred in the rotor. So if we are saying stator loss is very less, we can neglect that loss in the running condition. Now we are saying about the mechanical losses. So here mechanical losses, these are nothing but these will occur at the bearing and the brush friction which we are using in the rotor induction motor. So we can say in three-phase induction motor, speed will usually remains constant, and we can, if we are saying if speed will remains constant, we are saying mechanical loss which will occur because of the brushes which we are using with the three-phase and the bearing. So we can say this will also remains constant. The mechanical loss, we are taking PML, that value they will give in the numerical. So here now we are saying these losses as the constant losses. Again, if you see about the induction motor, there can be a variable losses which will changes. So these losses we can call which will be caused because of the copper losses. So these losses will occur due to the electric current flowing in the stator as well as in the rotor winding. And as the value of load we can change, the electrical current flowing in the rotor will also change. So we can say here the value of loss also change, because when we are changing the value of electric current, at that time the value of करंट इज गोइंग टू चेंज. सो वी आर सेइंग P इक्वल टू V इंटू R. तो करंट चेंज हो रहा है, इट मीन्स क्या होगा कि वो पावर भी चेंज हो जाएगा. So you can say here these power losses will also changes. So we can say these losses as a variable losses. Now we want to see about the power flow diagram. As we have seen these losses, if we want to derive the efficiency of three-phase induction motor, how we can derive? We can denote efficiency by letter neta, and we can derive neta equal to output power upon the input power. So here we are saying about the three-phase induction motor efficiency. So you can take power that will be developed at the shaft, and input power you can take which we are giving to the stator. So you can take neta equal to P out upon PE. And if you are talking about the efficiency of rotor, तो रोटर का इनपुट पावर क्या होता है P2, तो डिनोमिनेटर में आएगा P2, एंड रोटर का आउटपुट पावर क्या होता है PM, मैकेनिकल पावर PM. PML is B mechanical power loss and PM will be the mechanical power. So you can take rotor efficiency that will be equal to PM upon P2 and three-phase induction motor efficiency that will be P out upon PE. Now we can see about the power flow diagram. So here we are saying we are supposed to use three-phase induction. How it will work? When we will give the input, when we will give the electrical power supply to the stator at that time, that will go to the rotor and rotor will start to rotate, due to which we are saying the input power to the rotor, you can see here we are saying that power as a P2, output power of rotor we are taking as a PM, output power of the induction motor, तो यहाँ पे क्या रहेगा, at last you will get here P out, you can see it, you will get here output power. So here when we are using the stator and rotor at that time, we are saying you will get the different types of losses. These losses are fixed and the variable. So you will get the mechanical loss. You will get the mechanical loss, core loss. That will be the constant or a fixed loss, and the loss which will be because of copper. You can say these losses as a variable. So when we are supposed to see, power flow diagram is nothing but like a algorithm. जैसे हम Arduino का प्रोग्रामिंग करते थे तो कैसे at start firstly we are supposed to start, after that we are supposed to use two statement void set and void loop, like this. How we are doing, we are supposed to do stepwise. In that way we are drawing here the power flow diagram. There will be questions sometime, draw a power flow diagram or explain the power flow diagram for the three-phase induction motor. So you are supposed to explain from start to bottom how it will work, how will you give the power supply, how stator will work, and how that power will go to the rotor and rotor will rotate and you will get the energy that will be in the form of mechanical, and how there are the different types of power losses you are supposed to explain. So here when we are saying about the power flow diagram for the three-phase induction motor, we can say three-phase induction motor will convert electrical power into a mechanical power. So we can take input power as electrical, output you can take as a mechanical power. If you want, you can write. And that power you will be get at the output of shaft. So we can say that power as a shaft power, or you can say P out, you can say P shaft. So here we are saying during this conversion, when we are doing electrical to mechanical conversion, at that time the power flow will happen through a different regions. So this power flowing through different stages is shown by the power flow diagram. As we will know that we are giving input to the three-phase induction motor, that will be the three-phase. So we are taking here three lines. We can give that input in star or a delta connections. So here when we are giving the three-phase supply to the three-phase induction motor, at that time we are giving that input to the stator. हम ये input जो है we are not giving directly to the rotor. In DC motor we have seen we can give separately, or there is a self-excited. Separately मतलब रोटर और स्टेटर को हम सेपरेट दे रहे थे या फिर हम स्टेटर को दे रहे थे और वो रोटर को दे रहा था. But here if you see, here only we are giving that to the stator and it will provide to the rotor. If you study DC motor, DC machine and AC motor simultaneously, at that time it will get helpful for you guys. So DC motor or AC motor, because the same concept there and here. There is also torque speed characteristics. Here also there we will require armature as a rotor winding we are taking. So you can study both units simultaneously. So here what we are saying here, when we are giving three-phase supply to the three-phase induction motor, at that time you are supposed to give that supply to the stator winding. So here when we are giving that supply to the stator winding, we have already seen the equations. I am revising. So just pay attention. So here we are giving the input. So that input will be P in equal to. square root of 3 VL IL cos phi. Cos phi is nothing but power factor. P in is nothing but input electrical power which we are giving to the stator of three-phase induction motor. VL and IL, these are the line current, line voltage. So we can say VL is the line voltage which we are supplying to the stator of three-phase. IL, stator current which will be supplied to the stator of three-phase induction motor. Cos phi, that will be the power factor of three-phase induction motor. So you will get here Pn equal to square root of 3 VL IL cos phi. After that, when we will give that power supply to the stator, a part of this power will be used to the stator losses and some part that will be given as a stator losses. We are saying this as a stator iron loss and the stator copper loss. And remaining power we are giving to the P2. That's why if you see we are taking P in equal to P2 plus PCU because some power is going to the stator copper loss and the stator iron loss. And some power will go to the P2. P2 is nothing but P2 as a rotor input. So some we are giving to the rotor. So we can take rotor input P2 equal to P in minus P stator losses. Means the copper and the iron losses which we will get in the stator. Now, when we are giving the input power to the rotor at that time, that cannot directly converted into a mechanical output because if you see that is not directly converted into PM because some part is going to the rotor copper losses. So here we can say when we are giving input power P2 to the rotor at that time, it cannot be converted directly into a mechanical output because it will also some part given to the supply rotor losses. Since the iron loss depends upon the rotor frequency which is very small, we can neglect that. But rotor will also have copper losses. So we cannot neglect copper losses. Here we are taking iron and copper losses. But here we are saying rotor iron loss is very loss as compared to the rotor power. So we can neglect that loss. And you can take that loss as a PCU. It means what? Copper loss. So now we can say here rotor input has given to a rotor copper losses. So after supplying the rotor copper losses, remaining part of the input rotor power will goes to the mechanical power. So you can take PM equal to P2 minus PCU. And here again, if you see all are divided. P in is divided into P2 and stator losses. P2 is divided into PCU and PM. PM is again divided into PML and a P out. So you can take P out equal to PM minus PML. PM is nothing but the gross mechanical power which will get developed at the output of rotor. And the mechanical losses which will be because of friction and the windage losses. So we can say now this mechanical power which will be developed at the output of rotor, we can take that as a net output power and we will get net output power that will be at the output of shaft. You can take that as P out equal to PM minus PML. PML is nothing but mechanical losses, mechanical power losses, and these are occurred due to the friction and the windage losses. Now, if we are supposed to derive the efficiency, you can derive neta equal to output power upon input power. But input power is nothing but output plus losses. So you can take neta equal to output upon input plus losses. So here we can say, sorry. Here we can say when we are giving input power to the three-phase induction motor, we are giving to the stator. Some will go to the stator losses and some will go to the rotor. That is nothing but input to the rotor. Again, when we are giving input to the rotor, Some will go to the rotor copper losses because here iron losses we are neglecting, and some will go to the mechanical power, which will get developed at the output of rotor. Again, it will be divided into a motor output, which we will get at the shaft of motor, and some will go to the mechanical losses. Here we have finished about the uh, here we have finished about the power flow diagram for the three-phase induction motor. In next session, we want to see about the need of starter, which will be required in the three-phase induction motor. We will see in the next class. If anyone is facing any issue, you can ask me. Otherwise, you guys can leave now. Okay, thank you. We are concluding our today's session.